Greetings, Eric Bakker. Thanks for coming back. You might find this video a bit dark because, well, what is it today? 22nd, 23rd of June, 24th, which is really our winter equinox. So we're probably really on our shortest day here in New Zealand. And you people here in the Northern Hemisphere will be probably on one of your longest days, summertime. So if the video is a bit dark, these series of next videos, please bear with me because it is winter here. Right. Questions? Questions. We get so many questions. Here's a pretty cool question I get asked regularly by people, by subscribers on YouTube. What are the best dietary changes you can make to boost gut health? So let's talk about that now. I've made so many videos about gut health, but this is going to be an interesting one because we're going to talk a little bit about primitive type people compared to, modern people living, in Western society. So I'm going to explain a few different concepts. But what right now could you do to really improve your digestive health, right? Well, I've written a few bullet points down as usual, and I'm going to talk about those. So I think probably the most important thing you can do by far when it comes to diet change is to include more fiber in your diet, okay? Now, we're not talking fermented or cultured foods. We're not talking kefir or yogurt or probiotics. We're talking actually green food, which is high in fiber. This really creates the best, I think, in my opinion, the diversity that you're looking for in the microbiome. So if you look at different tribes around the world, and particularly the fiber intake, there is enough research now that shows, for example, that people who eat huge amounts of fiber, if we look at cultures in, let's just say pick Africa, look at a country like Tanzania. But the same thing could apply for many other countries, where we still have many indigenous peoples living. So I was just reading a very interesting article about the Hadza people. That's H-A-D-Z-A, Hadza people of Tanzania. Now their fiber content is between 100 to 150 grams plus per day, whereas the average person in New York City is probably going to eat 10 to 15 grams of fiber per day. Now, if you compare the cancer, diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol, if you compare these rates of New York people compared to people in Tanzania that live an indigenous lifestyle, they're basically miles apart. So high fiber diets have been linked with a very big reduction in many diseases of the Western civilization. So in my opinion, from where I'm sitting, the number one thing you can do right now to really help to boost your health, your gut health, and also to stave off incidences of chronic Western, diseases of civilization, is to eat more fiber in your diet. So 40 grams we should be eating, 30, 40 grams on average. So if you're eating very small fiber, okay, you're going to have a much higher likelihood of smaller stools, more constipation, more difficulty passing motions. So bulking up the stool is extremely important, all right? The fiber helps to build the microbiome and that biodiversity, all right? The Hadza people, it's estimated to eat between 400 to 600 different species of animal and plant in 1 year, okay? And on average, again, a person who lives on the east or west coast of the US is likely to eat maybe 40, 50, 60 species of plants, animals in 1 year. So their diversity is much more narrow. So that's the second point, is increase the amount of species of animals and plants you're eating. Eat more vegetables, eat more fruits, eat different types of animals if you're that way inclined to eat animals. If you're vegan, of course, I understand that. But the point I'm making is increase the scope. Look at different types of vegetables and fruits you can really put into your diet. So the fiber is everything, okay? It's really, really important to have that high fiber in there. Remember, I've mentioned this before in videos, okay? Small stools, big hospitals. Big stools, small hospitals. Okay, I'll let you do the thinking from that one. Second or third point, nutrient-dense food, okay? So you really want to have deep green if you can. Broccoli is really good for that reason. But anything from the brassica family, like kale, for example. But green beans, spinach, there are so many beautiful deep green leafy kinds of vegetables that you can eat, which have a high fiber content and very good nutrient-dense content. These are the foods that we need to be eating. These are the foods that are powerful. They build our health. So you're not going to find a lot of fiber in a packet of fries and a can of Coca-Cola. But those are the sort of foods that are rammed down our throats. If we get onto TV or we look at social media, we're getting all this junk pushed onto us. Do you think people in Tanzania got any time to eat a burger and fries? Likely not. Right? So stick with regular meals if you can. I find it much more beneficial for the gut to have regular meals, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, instead of a hit and miss kind of affair. Well, I'll let lunch slide. I'll eat lunch at 4 p.m. and I'll have dinner at 2 a.m. No, you can't live like that. Okay, it's not really a healthy thing to do. Now, you don't have to be like the Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman, and look at your clock and say, it's 8:30 a.m. I will be eating my breakfast. Whoop, hang on, it's 8:32. I'm 2 minutes late. I'm not talking about that, okay? I'm talking about regular meals 3 times per day. But in saying that, some people are not really that big on breakfast. That's okay. Maybe eat a little bit later. But try not to snack continually throughout the day, you know, 10, 15 small meals. It's not great for the digestive health. You need to have space between meals for, okay, the passage of food and stool to work through the GI tract. You can't just keep pummeling the gut with snacks all day long. Right? Not a great idea. Eat what's in season. Another good point. Okay? Not really a good idea to eat tropical fruits in the middle of wintertime. So try and eat stuff that's grown in your area at that time of year. More likelihood it's going to be more nutrient dense, okay? And it's going to give you what you need for that particular time of year as well. It makes more sense. What's the next one? Chew. I've spoken about this many times on videos. Chewing equals better pooing, okay? So people who chew better, they poop better. So remember to chew your food. And that's why I'm not a fan of really having people watching Netflix or, you know, some type of a movie on TV or on their mobile phone, you know, sitting there eating meals while they're on their phone. You can't engage the brain, okay? You can't engage the autonomic nervous system properly in what you're doing, task at hand, if you're trying to watch some sort of murder and you're eating steamed broccoli at the same time. Not a great idea, is it? Probably better off to, you know, not watch this murder kind of stuff at all, in my opinion. I don't really get into that kind of stuff. Right, last point. It's not as important to eat fermented and cultured food as it is to eat fiber food. Let me repeat that. It's not as important to eat yogurt and kefir and sauerkraut as it actually is to eat proper vegetables and fruits, okay? So many people will say, you're wrong, Dr. Bakker, but I'm not wrong. Fresh vegetables and fruits trump fermented and cultured foods any day, in my opinion. The cultured and fermented foods are the icing on the cake to be consumed as your gut improves or is healthy. But you're not going to turn a sick gut around with cultured and fermented foods. In fact, that usually aggravates the hell out of most people I know. So stick with basic stuff. It always works. So let me just repeat. High fiber diets. That's the key thing about this video, okay? Jack your fiber content of your diet up. Watch the bowels really improve, but do this slowly over time. You're not going to go from 40 grams of fiber to 150 grams of fiber in a week, are you? Right? Not a good idea. Remember, take it nice and slowly and build your fiber content up slowly over a period of several months. It's much better for your gut to do that because your bacteria will start to follow suit. And you watch what happens. The bloating will disappear slowly, the gas will go away, the stools will increase, and your health will really take off. Thanks for tuning in.